Warren Buffett's Berkshire Hathaway just released their latest Form 13F, and this document reveals every single move he made last quarter and gives us an update on his entire portfolio. So in this video, I want to look at all the moves Buffett has recently made, look at his updated portfolio, and also share some key takeaways. I also shared these key takeaways over on Twitter/X, so be sure to follow me over there if you aren't already. Now let's go ahead and jump in. So we can see I am on the free website dataroma.com, and we are looking at Warren Buffett's Berkshire Hathaway's entire portfolio. And we can see as of right now they have 41 total holdings, and their portfolio value is currently sitting at $331 billion. So let's go ahead and click on activity so we can see all the recent moves made in Q1 of 2024. Let's go through these one by one. First thing we can see is they added shares of Liberty Sirius XM Series A and Liberty Sirius XM Series C. Now these are positions already in their portfolio, but the size of these positions did grow pretty significantly compared to where they previously were, but if we look at the percent change to the portfolio overall, they were still relatively small moves. Now we can see the other two companies he added shares of were Chubb Limited, which we'll talk about a little bit later in the video, and then Occidental Petroleum. He added shares again of this oil company. And then we can see he reduced slightly his CVX Chevron position. He reduced his position in Louisiana Pacific Corporation. He reduced his position in Sirius XM Holdings. He had a big reduction in Apple, which we'll definitely touch on in a little bit. We can see this was around a 6% change to his overall portfolio. He had a large reduction in his Paramount Global position, again, something we'll also talk about. And then he completely sold out of HPQ, sold 100% of that position. So overall, there were 4 positions he added capital to, 5 he reduced, and 1 he sold out of completely. So now if we look back at the Holdings tab, we can see the portfolio actually does look a little bit different compared to the most recent quarter. Apple previously was over 50% of his entire portfolio, but it's now sitting at 40.81%. Bank of America and American Express are both holding strong at the second and third largest positions. Coca-Cola is still a major position, and even though he sold some shares of Chevron, this is still the 5th largest position in his portfolio. We can see XOY, KHC, that's Kraft Heinz, Moody's, MCO, and Chubb Limited, all still decently large positions in the portfolio, and then we have DaVita Healthcare Partners and Citigroup. These are the only positions in his portfolio that make up over 1% of his portfolio. Everything after that is less than 1%. Now, what I want to do is look at some of the key takeaways from this most recent 13F filing. This is something I posted to Twitter around 12 to 16 hours ago, and people seem to like the takeaways because it's already been viewed over 100,000 times. So let's go ahead and dig in. Now, key takeaway number 1 is something we already touched on. We just looked at the buys and the sells. So let's go ahead and move to key takeaway number 2. And key takeaway number 2 is the Paramount Global mistake. And before we even dig into this, let's jump over to Seeking Alpha. We can see Paramount Global over the past year down around 27.8%, and over the past 5 years, down almost 74%. So this position has been a huge loser. If we jump back over to Twitter, we can see in Q1 of 2022, Berkshire Hathaway initiated this position in Paramount Global. So it's a relatively new position, but we can see they added capital to this position in Q2 of 2022, Q3 of 2022, Q4, and Q1 of 2023. So they continued to add new capital to this position. But in Q4 of 2023, that's 2 quarters ago, Buffett reduced this position by 32.44%. And again, it was just recently announced he reduced it again by 88.11%. Again, if we jump back over to the activity tab here on Dataroma, we can see Paramount Global reduced by 88%. So they've almost completely sold all of their position in Paramount Global, but they're still hanging on to a few shares. Now, what was going on? What's the reason behind this? And like I just touched on, the past 5 years, they're down 74% and down over 20% in the last year. And this is actually something Buffett touched on at the Berkshire Hathaway meeting just around a week or 2 ago. So let's go ahead and play that clip.
It was 100% my decision, and we sold it all, and we lost quite a bit of money, and that happens in this business too. But actually owning Paramount made me think even further. I think I'm smarter now than I was a year or two, a couple years ago, but I also think I'm poorer because I acquired the knowledge in the manner I did. But if I just want to be very clear that A, we lost money on Paramount, and B, I did it all by myself, folks.
So really the key takeaway here is that Buffett selling Paramount Global at a large loss is a very simple reminder that no one is right all the time. You should definitely not blindly copy other people's trades, and the main reason behind this is everyone has different time horizons, risk tolerance, and goals. Now key takeaway number 3 is why did they sell Apple? What was the reason behind this? This has been one of their largest positions for a long time now, and it was quite a shock to many people when Buffett announced they had sold around 12.83% of Berkshire Hathaway's Apple stake. Now, when Buffett was asked about this, he stated 2 reasons behind the sale, and the first was he indicated that the sale was actually motivated by tax considerations after substantial gains. And the second point is, in the current economic state of the world, Buffett's pretty happy to continue to increase his cash position. Now, with all that being said, Buffett also noted that Apple will continue to be a large and likely the largest position in Berkshire Hathaway portfolio for a long time, so this is definitely nothing to panic about. Again, keep in mind, Apple still makes up 40.81% of Buffett's entire portfolio. So it's clear Buffett is still a big believer in Apple. Now, if we jump over to my profitability spreadsheet, again, you can download any of my spreadsheets over on tickerdata.com and also get access to the Ticker Data add-on in Google Sheets that allows you to automatically import stock financials straight into your spreadsheet at tickerdata.com. But if we come up here, plug in AAPL and hit enter, and all this data will go ahead and load in. Now we can see over the past decade, earnings per share have obviously exploded, going from around $1.43 all the way up to $6.16. But here's what has some people concerned. Revenue growth over the past 2 to 3 years have really slowed down for this company. We can see revenue in 2021 was sitting at about $365.8 billion, 2022 $394.3 billion, and then in 2023 we actually saw it decline from 2022, dropping to around $383.2 billion. But here's something else we have to take into consideration. If we jump over to my stock screener spreadsheet and look at revenue per share, so this is on a per share basis, we can see it's still actually increasing year over year from 2022 to 2023. So why is that? If revenue from 2022 to 2023 actually decreased like we just saw over here, then why on a per share basis did it actually increase? And the reason behind this is one of the reasons a lot of people still love Apple stock, and that is because they are rapidly buying back shares. Look how many shares they bought back over the past decade. 2013 shares outstanding was sitting at 25.9 billion, 2023 all the way down to 15.7 billion. So this company is rapidly buying back their own shares. And so this is providing a big boost to all per share metrics like earnings per share, revenue per share, and free cash flow per share. And so if we jump back over to profitability spreadsheet, yes, revenue has slowed down, and that is something to keep in mind, but on a per share basis, the company's still doing quite well. And if we look at the 5 and 10 year revenue CAGR, it's a little bit lower than I typically like to see it, but on a net income basis, they're still seeing double-digit growth. Pretty solid for this company. Now, if we keep moving forward and look at the 4th key takeaway, we can see Warren Buffett's secret purchase was revealed. Over the past 6 months, Warren Buffett has been adding to a secret position. Warren Buffett obtained permission from the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission, which is the SEC, to keep the holding confidential in Berkshire's last 2 13F filings. Additionally, he chose not to reveal the stock's name at the company's recent annual meeting. And he also did the same thing when acquiring shares of Verizon and CVX. But finally, after the most recent 13F filing, it was revealed that the position he had been adding to was Chubb Limited. And this is a financial company that operates in property and casualty insurance. And once this was announced, we can see shares of CB were up nearly 8% after hours the other day. And if we jump over to Seeking Alpha, we can see this position over the past year up around 31.18%, over the past 5 years up around 82.65%, and it's currently up almost 4% on the day. I think it's still getting a nice little boost up after the announcement from Warren Buffett's purchase. And like many of Warren Buffett's top positions, we can see this company does pay a dividend, has a starting yield sitting at about 1.36%. Now, our 5th key takeaway is Warren Buffett is still heavy on tech and financials, even after reducing his position in Apple. We can see tech currently makes up around 41.37% of his portfolio, and financials currently make up around 29.94% of his portfolio. If we blow this chart up, we can see consumer staples at around 11.86%, energy at about 10.71%, and then everything after that is relatively low. Services around 3%, healthcare around 1.5%, and anything below that is below 1%. And then our 6th key takeaway is Warren Buffett still loves his dividend stocks. Out of Buffett's top 10 positions, 9 of them currently pay a dividend, and this was something I decided I wanted to break down a little bit more. So again, using the ticker data add-on in Google Sheets, I was able to automatically import all this financial data on Warren Buffett's portfolio. And we can see again, the top 9 positions, every single one of them pays a dividend, and then finally that 10th position does not pay a dividend. And out of those top 10 positions, Warren Buffett owns a couple of them that are on the higher yield sign. We can see KHC currently has a starting yield sitting at about 4.42%, and then we have CVX with a starting yield sitting at about 4.04%, and then of course we also have Citigroup and Coca-Cola with yields above 3%. I'll be sending out this spreadsheet via my weekly newsletter, so if you'd like to sign up to receive it, you can do so at the link in the description. So there you go, those are some of the key takeaways from Warren Buffett's Berkshire Hathaway's most recent 13F filing. And again, like always, if you'd like to get access to any of my spreadsheets or the ticker data add-on in Google Sheets that allows you to automatically import stock financials straight into your spreadsheet, then you can head over to tickerdata.com at the link in the description. So with all that being said, thank you guys so much for watching, and please don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel.